transfers, 4 on electronic monitoring, 16 on pretrial release for a total population of 76. Took in 6 inmates last week, 3 were repeaters and released 8. Repeater charges, 1 came in for simple assault and resisting arrest, booked 4 times in 2 years, 1 for protective custody, booked 8 times in 7 years, and 1 for acts prohibited, endangering the welfare of a child, possession of drugs in a motor vehicle, booked 2 times in 6 years. Regarding the recreation fence, I received a quote for $6,400 to address the needs of the main yard. I'd like to have that approved so I can get that work underway. And then the new Sally Port doors were installed last week. And then I forgot to bring, I have a draft copy of the annual report. The only thing I'm missing is the crime data for 2011, and I hope to have that by the end of the week. I would like to give you the annual report for your review because there's some other items that we included, like the different number of transports we did and the types of transports, the various incidents by category that happened within the facility.
Mm-hmm.
I just think it's valuable data.
Okay.
It's pretty lengthy as far as number of pages goes. It may have to be scaled back, I'm not sure. But I will get that to you later this morning.
Okay.
And that's all I have. I am on the agenda for a couple of non-public items.
Okay.
Did that contract go out, or did that go out for bid?
The fence,
Yeah.
I contacted the same company that did the loading dock area, so they did work with us before.
But it's over $5,000.
Yeah, you're right.
We may have to.
So how are the Sally Port doors working?
They work very good, ma'am, thank you.
Good?
Mm.
Okay.
Because the estimate is over 5,000,
Mhm.
you gotta put it out for bid.
Okay,
So you need to contact 3 companies, put it in the paper.
okay.
And put it on the bulletin board downstairs.
The same thing we did with the wall.
Yep,
Okay.
yep. Okay, so we'll have to hold that up. Okay.
Mhm.
Any other questions for Jason? No? No. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
I had a quick question, Jason, if I could.
A quick one.
I was just wondering if you could send me some of that information that you're gathering on the crime statistics?
Yeah.
And if you have a comparison to 2010, that would be great. Thank you.
Mhm.
Oh,
Dan?
Jason,
Go.
I heard something this morning driving in on NPR about a company that works with those who had been in jail
Mhm.
to
Recycle.
recycle, yes, thank you, to recycle mattresses and box springs. And
Okay.
it sounded very interesting, and you might want to just, I think it's called Spring Ahead or something like that, and they're out of Louisiana. But they're looking to bring their kind of business, or, to other states.
Okay,
It's
Sure.
it's green, it's a green business, and it's
Mhm.
that sort of thing. I guess you first have to check on whether here in locally, or in New Hampshire, at least in Carroll County,
Mhm.
does anybody do this sort of work?
okay.
To take apart these mattresses and box springs. It's apparently a very labor-intensive job.
Okay, sure.
All right, thank you, Jason.
Thank you.
Sandy?
Here you go.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I like the nice red.
Looking at your blue too. Royal. Okay. Today in the nursing home, or our community, we have 103 residents, 22 private pay, 7 Medicare, 7 pending Medicaid, and 67 that are Medicaid residents. Talking about pending of Medicaid, there is a bill that is being looked at by the House having to do with the amount of time the Medicaid application should stay into that system. And it's the counties are pushing, the county homes are pushing that once the Medicaid application is complete, there should be a set amount of time. I think the way the bill reads is that it would be 45 days from the date of submission. I'm not sure how that works, but just we'll keep apprised of that. Because there are residents, as you know, and as I report pending of Medicaid, a number of people are pending for quite a long time. Students came yesterday from the Governor Wentworth School District. They're being oriented, and they'll start on the households next week.
What are they being oriented about?
We have 5 students are coming Tuesday and Wednesday, and then there's another group of students Wednesday and Thursday. And they're doing nursing, working to get their LNA license of sorts, so that they'll be taking, they'll be working with under the supervision of their instructor, doing activities of daily living. They're only there for short periods of time, about 2.5 hours. But that's great exposure for them. I also believe that there will be a student working in our rehab department every Wednesday. Again, that hasn't been finalized, but I was approached by the instructor yesterday. Reporting reasonable suspicion of a crime in a federally funded long-term care facility. There's now focus on crimes that may or could be committed in a long-term care facility. And they're focusing on federally funded nursing homes. I have to say now that we have obtained more than $10,000 of federal funds, so we have to abide by the rules that they have written. Yet we're looking for determination of the rules because they're somewhat convoluted. But by stating to you that we have taken in $10,000, I've met some of the intent of the law. I'll be meeting with law enforcement having to do with actually identifying what a crime is. But things such as assault, theft, any violent crime, attempted murder, those kinds of things. But again, I will be meeting with the sheriff's office so that we can identify what a crime is. We will be posting information to the employees saying there would be no retaliation if you reported a crime. But these are all areas that we have to meet because we are a federally funded long-term care facility.
Prior to the fact that we became a federally funded long-term care facility, was this something that the ombudsman would have been involved in?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, more than the ombudsman, if we had identified some issue in it.
Yes.
Sometimes when you look at legislation or laws, you're quite taken back because of but there must have been some issue that was not reported somewhere, somehow, and then therefore a law was put forth. Needing some clarification on the meetings next week. I know Monday, there is a meeting a subcommittee meeting having to do with the old nursing home.
Right.
And there is a tour at 9:30 of the
Requested, yep.
building. And then the following week, there's a delegation.
We've got to make sure that Bob Murray is involved on this committee too.
Yes, and he said that he would be, I believe, he's working the weekend. He had planned the day off, but he will be there for the tour as well as the meeting.
Yeah.
And then as far as the delegation meeting is the following Monday, and I wondered if there is a schedule.
They were working on a schedule, and I believe the nursing home, the jail, and the sheriff's department are separate. They won't be that first day. Registry of Deeds, Commissioner's Office, Administration Building, those smaller departments will be on the first day, my understanding.
Okay.
I'll correct that if we hear anything different.
Okay.
So you won't be involved the
All
first
right.
day.
Just so that we're making
Yep.
the schedule out
Yep.
and what have you. And then a month or so ago, I spoke about pharmacy and increased rate, and I have heard responses from my RFP from Omnicare, Kenny Drug, which is a part of Health Direct and Farm America, and I'll bring the information with me next week, and we can review that information.
Is there any way we can tie that in with the jail?
I can talk, it's difficult because and I will talk to Jason, make a call. Again, the regs for the nursing home is much different than for perhaps Department of Corrections. My concern is that someone is in the immediate area, so if we need drugs, that we'll be able to have drugs and not be running to the local pharmacy to supplement and whatever.
Yeah.
But I believe that this is an area that we'll be looking at every year very closely because of cost and availability. But I will speak to Jason.
Okay. All right. Any questions?
Yeah, I do. Sandy, has anything further been done regarding the veterans contract?
I've placed a call and I'm waiting for them to call back, and I can follow up again. I actually had a meeting with a woman who would be one of the surveyors of the long-term care, our facility, and she seemed very interested, and she was going to get back to me. So, but I will chat with her.
Anything else? Thank you, Sandy.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That's all we have. That's all.
I got a letter, let's see, where is it? Here we go. Letter from Tri-County CAP Transit, Public Transit in North Conway, serving Cohos, Northern Grafton, and Carroll counties. And they are requesting $15,000 for funding to support the transit system. I don't know, you know what that $15,000 is for?
It's for the,
Other than general support?
it's for general support.
General support?
It's for the fixed route system, the new fixed route system that went online on the 4th or 5th of the month. But I think they have to present this to the delegation because they didn't present it to us in time to put it in our budget.
Right.
So is this is going in next year's budget?
Yeah, this
Yeah.
year's budget.
Well,
No,
but
but this one.
You were at,
It's for this
both of
year,
you were
yeah.
at that subcommittee meeting, right?
Yeah, this for this year.
Where she spoke?
Still. Oh, yeah, she came in.
And all budgets have to go through the commissioners, and so,
yes, I
It was-
guess that's what it was. She was told to send it to us and then to
Yeah.
go to them.
so for the minutes,
So
Carroll
this is
County
what she
Transit
got, Carroll County, 59.
is requesting $15,000 to support. In the past, they requested $1,000. I think 2 years ago, and didn't use the money at all. Last year, they didn't request it. There was some thing about, they went to individual towns, and then they also went to the county, so it was double taxing the taxpayers. So apparently, she appeared before the subcommittee, and they apparently asked her to go through the commissioners to put it in the budget, so we'll put it in the budget, and delegation can act on it. For the subcommittee next week with the old nursing home, we got a lot of questions that the chairman of the subcommittee is asking. I've asked Bob Murray to go through and get the square footage and so forth on the questions that was asked, and we need to fill in the rest of them. And Mr. Albee, since you were on the committee for the pellet boilers, I would request that you help us fill in the rest of the questions as much as possible.
So that's why I gave him the sheet. I gave him the.
Oh, you did? Okay. Okay. I'll open it up again for input because unless Tom, are you here for non-public?
Yeah.
Okay. I'd open up again for public information. Any public input. We've got 3 meetings now that we're going to be looking at. It's going to be non-public. I don't know exactly what each one of those is for, but we'll definitely make it known next week. Yes, Damon?
I got a couple things. Are the commissioners prepared to release the name of the lawyer that's
Yes, tell
doing the
them.
investigation?
Tell them.
What's that?
Yes, tell them.
Yeah. Yeah, Dan Schwartz.
And do you know, where is he out of?
He's out of Exeter.
Oh, I have that at home.
Okay.
I thought that you say it's of
Millet,
Portsmouth.
Millet?
You said he was from Portsmouth.
Exeter Portsmouth, the
Millimit? Is that his company? No.
Divine Milliman?
Portsmouth.
I don't remember.
I'm not sure. I got that information downstairs.
Okay.
Okay?
And I understand in the last snowstorm, the county building was closed. And we're wondering,
We closed it in the afternoon when it got really bad.
commissioners have the authority to do that?
Yes, we do.
Was that a group decision or just the chairman?
Normally, it's the chairman that makes that decision.
Okay. And any word on my right to know letter and the Hummers? The separate issues.
What, you sent the letter?
That right to know letter.
What's the Hummers for? What,
Just wondering if you've seen them, if they've come by,
if what?
if you've seen them around the campus.
No, I have not.
Oh.
And the other issue,
The right to know letter from a few weeks back.
are we ready to release any of those that he's requesting?
Which thing?
The non-public minutes from September and October. That,
Right now, they
Yeah,
are sealed.
Well, we need the vote to unseal them first. So the board needs letter.
Is this still public comment?
Yeah, but we're waiting. Yep.
Well, I have one here, I have September 14th, but we have jail issues in it too.
So that's what, some things have to be
Some things we
redacted.
can't let out, but there's
Right.
other things that we can.
But the September, maybe we should retract maybe? Take the names out or something, or no? If we release it.
We would have to go through them to see what can be.
Yeah. Okay,
We all have to go through them.
we try it next week, Damon.
okay.
I went through a lot of minutes recently, and a motion was made by Commissioner Kenny to release several of those minutes. I think the comment was made that, I believe from maybe Mr. Babson, that we have not released many of the minutes, but we did in 2010. A lot of those minutes were released, and they're in the minutes of our meeting of those that were released. And I can get those for you if you want to have them.
I'm really looking for 2011 stuff.
Right,
So we're
right.
looking forward to it
Okay,
when we can.
okay. I will say that we have not signed a contract with the attorney. That's why I didn't release it before.
Okay.
We should be getting a contract shortly.
Has he signed his?
He's sending it to us.
Okay.
Yep.
And you haven't signed yours?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
I've seen it.
We haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, I think so, okay.
Okay, Mr. Brown?
Attorney Dewhurst, I've requested of the commissioners to have an audit done on the pellet boiler bidding process. Can you enlighten us upon anything that you can, as far as an audit goes? As a taxpayer and as a citizen of Carroll County, I am requesting an audit to be done.
Who's paying for
Would
this?
that fall under your purview?
The audit provisions are conducted by an independent set of auditors, which are hired by the county to do annual audits.
well, what about a specific audit for this bidding process that, there's some, as we just had a gentleman in here, we are getting screwed. But
Okay, all
apparently,
right.
the commissioners don't care.
Well,
I
I
think-
wasn't here, so I don't.
I
Well,
think,
that's why I'm asking.
I think Tom's right, if you're requesting an audit, we'd have to hire somebody to come in and audit that particular area. Maybe costly, may not be, we'd have to put it out for bid, I guess.
Okay, can you put that out for bid, or which, I'll have to?
I guess
is
it's
there
up, it's up to the board if they want
Do
to
you know of
do
a
that.
specific, how do you go about, how do I go, as a citizen, how do I go about forcing the commissioners legally to do an audit?
You'd have to request the board to do an audit, and then they'd have to review it and see what they want to do.
All right, so I should probably I'll put that in.
What does he
Would that
want
be
to
under
do?
91A?
What does he
Oh, no.
want to do?
Well, 91A is
He wants the boilers,
minutes and
the
meetings.
process.
All right, so it wouldn't be, it would just be a straight request to do an audit?
No, I think the installation.
This is an official meeting, so if you want to submit something, you can do it at an official.
Mr. Brown, could I clarify that? You're looking for an audit for the process used in installing the pellet boilers. Is that what you're looking for?
I'm looking for an audit of the whole pellet boiler process from day one. I wanna know everything about it.
Why don't you come to
You
the
stated that, how many grants were for the pellet boilers?
We had 2 grants for the pellet boilers,
And how much were those 2 grants?
200,000 apiece.
200,000 apiece.
200 went for the piping and 200 went for the purchase of the boilers. And
Because
those were federal grants.
the original estimate was for 500,000. So if we're getting 400,000,
I'm
why?
not sure, where did you come up with the 500,000?
It's in the material, I didn't bring the whole
Okay.
pack, but I'll be sure to bring it with me every meeting from now going forward.
Okay.
But the original estimate was for 500,000. So if
Okay.
we're getting 400,000 in grants, why are we now going to pay 375,000? Which would put the cost at 775,000, 225,000 more than what was the original estimate to do this.
The 2 federal grants, one was for piping and the other one was for purchasing of the boilers. Nothing to do with installation, just the purchase.
And from what, and I haven't had a lot of time to look into that, I've tried to glance through it, but I only got 1 grant. Now, under my 91A request,
What was-
I requested all information. So are you not adhering to the 91A
I'm sorry.
that I submitted?
I told our financial office to give that information to you. She only gave you the 1 grant?
Like I said,
Was that for
from
200?
What I've had the time to go, I haven't had a
How
lot,
much
but
was
what
the
I've
one
only
grant
seen
for?
is
Ask
1
how
grant.
much was for.
What's
How much
that?
was the 1 grant for?
What was that 1 grant that you received the information on? Do you remember?
How much was it for?
How much was it for?
I get one for 200,000, so it's probably the same.
Well, I don't know, I can't speak specifically to the grant itself, but I did see in the minutes that you made the motion to accept a $200,000 grant.
Okay.
So I can't speak to because like I said, I haven't had that much time to look in, but
I had a whole week.
I've only seen 1 grant.
Okay.
And and if there's 2, I wanna know why I didn't receive the other one under my 91A.
Would you ask Kathy Geary before you leave today to see if you can get that a copy of the other grant?
Well, I'll look into, I'll go back and study the material, but, once again, we're not being transparent here. So I guess I need to formally request, which I will do right now, put it in writing, as a taxpayer and a citizen of Carroll County, I'm calling for an audit of the entire pellet boiler issue, from the day one of the grant, the day one of every single, anything, email communications, I want to see everything. And why is this gentleman that just left, Mr. Dodia, said, we're getting screwed? and what the connection is with BPS. Commissioner Albee keeps, touting,
All right, okay,
BPS.
all right. Are you all done?
For the moment, I think.
Okay. Any further input? Yes, Ed?
The subcommittee on the regional appropriations about the transportation issue, if you missed the meeting, it's on my website. So
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Albee?
Just to clarify the two grants a little bit, we did contact Senator Shaheen's office
She
when
divided
the
them.
grant for the piping, the cost of the piping came in lower than expectation. We wanted to use part of that money to finish the payment on the boilers themselves, which were coming in a little higher than 200,000. So they did sort of get combined.
Mm-hmm.
I guess we're on YouTube. I want to assure the public that if, as Mr. Brown states, I was in the business of somehow colluding the county, we wouldn't have saved $2 million on this project. This slander that seems to be bouncing around here is a little outrageous. The only reason that Bonnet, Page, and Stone comes into the conversation at all is because you've awarded them the bid. Had you not awarded them the bid, we may be having a conversation about the qualifications or the ability of whoever you did award the bid to. Whether or not Mr. Doty or anyone else in the public thinks that we're getting screwed, I think is a little premature. I think you need to work through the process.
Mm-hmm.
It's important that we remain civil. I mean, this whole notion of lack of transparency et al. And then to accuse the commissioners of misspending money and in the same breath requiring, one citizen requiring the commission to expend county taxpayers' money to satisfy that person's curiosity about a particular process. I mean, as a citizen, as a taxpayer of Carroll County, before you spend a nickel on an additional audit, I want to know how much you're going to spend and what it's for. All of the information that's been requested is in the public domain right now. It's a matter of going to the business office and getting a copy of it. There's nothing that would require a 91A petition because none of this information is non-public. None of this information is out of the public domain.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps the easier way to do it would be to post the process on the website, have someone from the office do that, but to start spending taxpayer money on
It could get expensive.
investigations, I mean, have the Attorney General come in and see if there's some sort of violation and then have an investigation. But until the law's been broken, I don't want to spend a lot of money just to satisfy curiosity.
Okay.
It's not curiosity.
Mr. Brown,
It's called transparency.
Mr. Brown, you want the floor?
Commissioner Albee is the only one who gets to speak?
No,
He referred to me numerous times in
Okay.
his rant,
Right.
in his Democratic rant. So
Okay.
I don't get a chance to respond to it, Commissioner Albee? Seriously?
Mr. Brown, I asked you, go ahead. You want to give some public input?
Well, I mean, once again, we have the Democratic point of view from Commissioner Albee, which retorts the other two Democratic commissioners. I mean, Mr. Albee, once again, we got, this going on, I mean, that's his point, that's the Democratic side of it.
Are you talking about?
There's another whole
Are you talking
side of
about
it
political
that
parties?
I'm asking for. Excuse me, sir?
Are you talking about political parties?
Well, I think the Democratic Party is a party.
But you're talking about Democratic Party.
Well, that's his Democratic point of
Okay.
view.
I'm a Republican. She's a Republican. She's a Democrat. I thought you were saying that two commissioners were
Wait a
Democrats.
minute. I know I've lost part of my hearing, but you don't have the headphones on yet. Did I just hear Chairman Solomon say he was
I'm not a
Republican?
chairman. He
He
is the chairman.
That's what I said. Did I just hear I'm sorry, did I say Chairman Sorensen say he was a Republican?
That's right.
That's correct.
But yet, you walk